Hello, my name is Rajan Bola. I am a student of Dr. Ronald Letts at the Canadian Network for International Surgery. Today, I will be presenting to you on how to conduct a scientific meeting remotely. Let's begin. By the end of my presentation, I hope to instill you with three specific learning objectives. By the end of the session, you should be able to recognize the tools that are available for conducting scientific meetings remotely. You should also be able to identify strategies to maximize participant attendance and optimize retention. And finally, by the end of this session, you should be able to successfully organize your own virtual scientific meeting. Let's begin by going over what tools are commonly used in virtual scientific meetings. Generally, these can be divided into two types of software. The first includes platforms involved in hosting the meeting. The second involves software that engages the audience and allows for communication of scientific matter. At the CNIS, we often use Zoom for hosting scientific meetings. It is not uncommon to use Skype or Microsoft Teams. However, in our experience, these two are more commonly used in organizations and are not as versatile. However, more people are familiar with the Skype platform, and many people find familiarity with using Microsoft products. So we would recommend using whichever hosting platform makes sense from a technical and logistical standpoint. As for software used to engage the audience, there are many ways of communicating information, almost all of which are compatible with the previously mentioned hosting platforms. For example, a recorded PowerPoint video can be quite powerful in large group settings and prevents technical issues as the presentations and accompanying slide deck are already included in one PowerPoint format. When this isn't feasible, or when PowerPoint just won't cut it, YouTube is also a great tool to use, and it allows for viewing even after the meeting has concluded. Making use of the software in meeting platforms is also important. Make sure to explore the use of text chat, share screen, and even annotations. Finally, information can often be presented in a fun and enjoyable way through platforms that support quiz questions in the form of video game formats with a scoring system. And if your budget allows for it, you could even give prizes to the top contestants. Examples of these platforms includes Quizzes, Kahoot, and Moodle. So how do we engage the audience? We all know that scientists and clinicians are extraordinarily busy and often don't have time to sit through a long scientific meeting. To increase overall attendance and to reduce dropping off from the meeting from those who are in attendance, we have identified a few noteworthy strategies that we would like to share with you. The first being to create an agenda and to stick to it. Often having an agenda makes your meeting more interesting and also gives prospective attendees an insight into the meeting dynamics. This can result in higher attendance and reduced drop-off, as attendees may find more interest in your meeting topic, especially when they know what they're getting into. It can be beneficial to also ask experts to present meeting segments that are in their areas of expertise. Similarly, alternative modes of delivering information can go a long way, especially if you want this information to stick with your audience. What better way to learn scientific material than by actively engaging in it in a meaningful way? Finally, if all else fails and you may want to consider rewarding attendees for their time. This can be in the form of continuing medical education credits, honoraria, or other incentives that would only be given to attendees who stay for the whole meeting. This option is good to reduce drop-off, but you might not be confident that the attendees are taking away the important stuff from your presentation. Yes, we have noted several other strategies that we wish to share with you all today. These are more loosely considered tips that can help you with ensuring a successful meeting. The first tip we have is to be mindful of other time zones. Given that we are all global health practitioners, it's easy to forget that we are often working with people who may be many time zones away. Keep this in mind. Who is your target audience and what are their time zones? If your meeting is long, we would recommend including intermissions during the meeting for coffee, snacks, and just chatting with others. You can always frame this intermission as a networking session, and then you can make use of the breakout room function in Zoom. Given the digital world we are living in today, it is not uncommon for some of us to have poor audio or video connections. To make sure that those people are included in the meeting and can still be heard, we recommend making an example of the chat function and encouraging its use during the meeting. And finally, if you are planning a large meeting, try to have some form of an official to ensure that the meeting is on agenda, and so that if any technical issues come up, they can be resolved in a timely manner. You may also want someone taking notes from the meeting, or just make sure that the session is recorded. Here is an example of a scientific meeting we conducted and published almost exactly a year ago. Due to the cancellation of Bethune 2020, we hosted an international scientific curriculum review meeting. It was scheduled for 2 hours with a rigid agenda. It was hosted on Zoom and involved PowerPoint videos and some live presentations. We had 23 participants across 8 countries and many more time zones. Altogether, the meeting did prove to be successful despite some technical difficulties. We experienced minimal drop off during the session, and we like to believe that this is due to our use of the mentioned strategies and tips. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day. Thank you.